You gotta win the day. You gotta win the day.
Hey, you hard, student.
Get up, it's your time to shine. No time to waste, get fine. You gotta see it to believe it. So get your best look out and be it. What you waiting for?
Sanguine means to be optimistic in the face of adversity. So sanguine to us is an extension of our home. So we got started on social media a few years ago. We got started during the pandemic.
Okay.
And we initially got our first recognition with some of his viral recipes. And people really felt connected to us at our dinner table. So Sanguine we ended up seeing it on a show and we adopted it because we immediately were like curious people. So as soon as we heard Sanguine, we were like, we need to know what that word means. Then we looked it up. We were like, this is literally our lives, especially as Black gay men trying to pursue our dreams. We have to stay optimistic in the face of adversity to achieve everything that we want to achieve. So when people walk into House Sanguine, we want it to be a place for dreamers, for people that want to do more, want to be optimistic despite their circumstances. So
it's a place that's energy shifting. When you think about a dinner table, you think about, let's go further back. My grandmother cultivated the land around her. And then from there, she took the items that she had created and she purposefully nourished us. But before she nourished us, she put her intentions into the food. And that carries on. So like when we're at our dinner table, that's kind of our self-reflective moment to kind of shift our energies. We two different people, very opposite sides of the spectrum. After going off in the world, we come together at the dinner table and kind of mend those energies from there. So it's a healing space. And we try to transcend that within here as well.
yes, we always say that we not only fill people up spiritually. Oh, no, sorry, I messed it up. We not only fill people up physically, but also spiritually. So
I love that. So let me go back because you just gave us the first course.
So this first sequence that we have is something called a beet fergola salad.
How did you start cooking? Was it because of your family or was it like a personal interest? Like, how do we get to you're making these beautiful courses?
Well, just an interest that I had because I saw my grandmother literally showed and displayed her love through food. Never missed a Sunday when I lived back in Ohio. So when I moved here, that carried over. And then I traveled different places around the world and I had a very curious mind. So I would taste something very specific that a chef would have in their meals. And I would ask, I was like, what's the worst anyone could say is no, right? So I would make my way in the back of the kitchen and we would chop up a conversation. And I learned literally through physically being in the kitchen with these people that also carried the experience of showing love through food. It's a passion that people carry forth. Yeah. So after learning a bit of that, I took what I learned and carried it over. I'm a person of servitude. So I'm always putting myself and other people first when I serve them. So this just happened to be something that we normally do within our home that transcended outside.
Yes. And Chad mentioned that. So on social media, you are creating these experiences with just the two of you. And people are chiming in because of the energy that they are receiving through these posts that you're just comfortable in your own home. You're trying his meals and now you created a business out of it. So talk about the experience at home. Was it weird kind of showing that with social media or bringing them into your home?
I've always been a person that has been super passionate about social media. Our social media took off 5 years ago, but I've been doing social media, I feel like, my whole adulthood that I can remember. So this is just such a dream come true in a lot of different ways. And we feel so fortunate to, have the audience. So if anything, it feels like a privilege to be able to let people into our home and be that representation of what a Black gay couple today looks like, because I honestly didn't have that growing up. I wish I had that growing up. But I feel like it's my greatest honor to be able to tell our story, because the most powerful thing you can do as a Black person these days is to own your story, tell your story, and be loud and unapologetic about it. And what better place to do that than your home?
So people are chiming in. Engagement is through the roof. So much so that y'all go viral. How are you able to leverage, starting something just because you love it, and now people are chiming in to where you have this virality into, okay, let's turn this into a business?
Well, it went through quite a few different stages.
Yes.
I think that I'm in grad school right now. I go to Duke University. I'm getting my MBA.
Right.
And that decision was made because we wanted to take this business very seriously. I said, if I'm going to start a business, I want to do it the right way. Because I come from a family of entrepreneurs, and I feel like I've learned a lot of lessons through them. So if anything, I just want to do it in a way that lasts long and is good to people, and that I can leave legacy for future generations, hopefully
Right.
our kids as well. So for me, that's what it is.
That's interesting because I feel like a lot of people just kind of, and speaking of myself too, like in business, have mentors, ask people around them, or just figure it out one step at a time. But you are literally taking a whole nother step and saying, okay, my husband is a great chef, a great cook. We're going to figure out how to make a business out of this, but I'm actually going to go to school. Okay.
Yeah, and then I think that the school thing was like, okay, this is serious.
Yeah.
Now let's go and let's test the market. So then we started to put together, events around Charlotte, rent venues, do it that way. We put together a Friendsgiving, sold out. Then we did a Valentine's Day event that did well, and we just kept on doing events. And we did not receive one complaint after serving all those people. We were like, you know what? We might be on to something. So then I was taking final exams in May. And I was so stressed. And then I get this email from T-Show, Camp North End, saying like, hey, we have this space open. I know that y'all do a lot of dinner parties in Charlotte. We think y'all would be a good fit. Come tour. So we came in and we toured, fell in love with the space. And 4 months later, now we're here.
So somebody reached out to you on social media and was like, hey, we have this space.
Yes.
Okay, so that's a leap of faith, because when
We
you
were
were just
not-
creating this content.
We were not seeing this initially. So that's why we're also very like spiritual people. I feel like this was divine in a lot of different ways. And the way that there were so many moments where I just knew that like God was in it, that I just felt like we have to leap. And for me, faith without work is dead. So it's just like, you're getting all these signs from the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. It's just like, you can either listen to it or you can be scared. And me, I ain't never scared. So.
I love that. Okay, so my question is, because, some people are scared to even post. And you are posting, again, in your home, a sacred space. How did you just put away any, self-sabotage or any fear to say, okay, we're going to bring this community here? Because that's another leap in itself. Yes, the leap of, putting yourself out there, the leap of saying yes to the space, but then it's another step of, okay, how do we get those people off social media and to come into here to keep the events consistent?
I feel like that's the energy of the times these days. Like, people are craving community, to be actually communing within community. And then what better way than around food, and then around people around the same ideas. We crossed over into our 30s, and we still party, but we want to leverage something a little bit more spiritual, I would say. And that's what we're creating in this space. Able to unmask in spaces is something which is, it used to be unfamiliar, but now it's becoming more familiar these days. So creating spaces where people can come into something and be their full selves is, I feel like, something that they crave, and we're just naturally cultivating that.
Yeah, because I feel like in so many situations that we've been in before, you go into a space and it feels like maybe you aren't greeted, you don't feel welcome, or you go into a space super exclusive, you feel like you have to put on, feel like you can't just be authentic. And there are people that have walked in here that have been through literal breakups, and by the time they left, they have a smile on their face saying thank you. So to me, that's the work that's important. That's the work. That's why we do it. Like, I feel like people don't understand that we really like love our community. Like, these aren't followers to us. These aren't fans to us. These are community members. So it's just like, we want people in here to feel good.
And a sense of safety.
And feel safe.
I said earlier, I was like, it's so peaceful. I think I just had a moment outside and it's super peaceful. And I love the art. So for the people in here, describe like what we're seeing around us with the art on the wall.
We have our featured artist within here. His name is Justice Dwight. Very fantastic artist. And even if you take a look at this particular painting right here, the rendition of what it means is we are all born with like a sacred aura and a color. And the different compartments and pieces on it are different parts that we picked up throughout our lives that make it us. So it truly is like a self-reflection of everything that we have on us creates beauty. So I love the color dynamics that he pays attention to. And that's what we pretty much branded our business off of. It's like, we're colorful people, so it's not going to be dull in here at any moment, you know?
Money, the salad was great, but we're ready to try something from Louisiana.
Ooh, a little Creole.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm excited.
You don't just cook to cook. You cook with love, but there's also meaning behind each thing. So she said something about Louisiana. What's she talking about?
So when I cook, there's no one-track mind with my cooking. And when I cook, there's always a learning lesson because my niece and nephew call me Miss Frizzle because I'm always discovering something new. There's always some historical backstory. So I said, since we're in North Carolina, I'm going to take a bit dive into some of the histories behind it. Shrimp and grit culture, for example. But I want to like redefine it in a way which we haven't eaten it before. So the next dish that is going to come out is a play on that. What you'll see is I'll take certain dishes and I'll recreate it by putting texture to thought. So when you think of grits, you're thinking, you know, the runny grits, and then the classic conversation of sugar versus salt.
Right.
I'm a sugar person around
No,
here.
Money.
You know what? I'm a sugar person around
No,
here.
raise your hand if you put sugar in your grits. Y'all gotta go.
There we go.
I'm kidding.
My people.
You need to leave.
For the next dish, I have made it savory only because I have realized that a lot of North Carolinians do appreciate the savoriness of it. And then as far as the shrimp, I butterflied an Argentine shrimp right down the middle, only because it cooks a little bit more evenly. And then I have like a sweet and sour citrusy taste to it. There's a lot of citrus flavors because it brings out something, I call them organics, like whitefish, shrimp. They hold flavor a lot, so you really don't need to overbear them. Some people make rubbery shrimp. There's going to be a whole class on that come next month, so stay tuned for that. And then I also have a pairing of my grandmother's sweet tomato ketchup. Usually I put it on greens or cabbage, or even a piece of bread, like a bruschetta. Almost. And all of that, I haven't discovered anyone who has that, but all of those recipes came out of that tin box there.
So that tin box is from her grandma?
Yes, and then her grandmother and her mother.
Wow.
I love to eat. You teach me something like while I was eating, I'm like, gonna feel the love like even more.
It's the story behind it. You know, nothing new is under the sun, but new creation, new discovery through every generation is something that's new.
Right.
And plan on carrying that forth with our family.
All right, last meal we went to New Orleans and it was delicious. But let's make our way back to the Carolinas.
So this next meal that is coming out, I made a little triangle because I was like, we're in the Carolinas, so we have to pay homage and respect to it. But I want to specifically pay attention to South Carolina because it gets lost in translation sometimes. The food is very rich on the coastal regions. So we're going to go to the coast with something, but we're going to use a Chilean sea bass this time, cut very thin, and it's scaled. Scaled, basically, you're not actually eating scales, but I imitated the scales with a potato. A really cool citrusy flavor, and then succotash is a thing in South Carolina, which I really didn't care for it growing up, but I've come to accustom to appreciate my vegetables these days.
Mhm.
So I hope you guys enjoy it.
Yes.
It's a fish that is cooked down within butter so much so that the grand presentation of sommelier is you pull the spine out in front of the guests. Literally fall off the bone.
Talk to me about the events that you have here, because if you went from just you two at home, now expanding it, like what are the events that you serve? How do you come up with them to make sure it's, bring it in that community?
We always like to view this as being a third space for the community. So we have a range of events where it's accessible to all. So our co-working hours happen 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and that is free. People can come through and work, and the intention behind that is to really gather the community in a safe space to share ideas, be creative. People come in and paint, people come in and draw, people come in and take a call or two. So whatever your trade is, we're open to it. We just want you to connect with community. And then we have our events. We probably have an event a week.
Okay.
And they're always usually under 40 people. We really specialize in intimate events.
Yes.
And they have ranged from we had an anime and wine event the other
Oh,
night.
wow.
Sold out, 60 plus.
Was that the biggest?
Well, I think the Beats and Brews was right there with it, which was we hired a coffee cart and we did a DJ in here and had a food experience around that. And then we really have been leaning into our cooking classes. Those have been really popular lately where Monny, you should describe that.
So the cooking classes for me are a lost art of a different form of storytelling.
Okay.
Specifically with history. I'm a history buff. I love history.
No worries. Teach us.
Okay. So for example, like last month's classes, we kind of focused on a lot of Italian eats, specifically focusing on Sicily. And some of the Black Sicilians that came out of it, like where the Moors came from, and some of the foods that came out of that culture during the time with sub-Saharan Africa and also some of the Aramaic countries. And we go through a whole lesson through that. And we always try to feature something every month that continues that learning, that encouragement of trying to find and be very curious about some of the things that we don't know or adhere to. So that's been very cool.
Yeah.
So do you allow people to come to you and say, hey, we're thinking about this type of event. Can we have it in your space? Or do you have set events already that people can come to? How do you work it out?
But this is a perfect example of the types of events we're always trying to have. We're community partners. So if you come to us and you have a plan and you have a vision, then we'll try to make it happen if it's aligned with our values. So I think that, again, we are for the people, we are for the creatives, we are for the gays, we are for our Black people, we are for everyone. But we also find it valuable to know that we have a safe space to create and build community, and that's important to us. So we try to lower the barriers as much as possible and let people know, no matter your position, you can have an event with us.
Collaboration over competition. What does that mean to you?
Collaboration over competition means knowing that there's room for everyone. And you don't have to compete. You really don't. I'm sure there's other dinner experience businesses in the world, but I'm focusing on ours, So it's just as long as you are trying to be the best that you can possibly be and wake up and put your best foot forward, whatever that means for you today. And sometimes you can't give your best, but as long as you can give whatever you can that day and just show up, I think that is half the work.
Yeah.
For me, it goes back to the beginning of what I said, where we're actually in community to commune. We're very fortunate and very blessed to be within the spot that we're in because Camp North End as a whole is the antithesis of that. So to be a part of the blueprint of something in Charlotte is fulfilling.
Yeah, I love that. There's somebody in this room who's like, I want to build a community. I want this. How do you garner people to come with you, to be around you, and to stay? Are you still figuring it out? Or is there something that you okay, this is what you really have to do consistently? How would you be able to describe how someone else could start a community and keep it if that's what they're trying to do?
I think you just have to be genuine and authentic more than anything. I think that people can see through. I was literally just having this conversation with business owners today. It's like you can literally feel when somebody's transactional or they just want you to buy something or, they just view you as a customer. And that's why we are very careful about the language we always use.
Yeah.
Even on our website, it's just like, this is community. I know that people hate to say family, but I'm like, we can't be a family.
Yeah.
So and I feel like that's what's wrong with our society if we can't create chosen family, even if they are strangers for a moment,
Right.
just to have that trust in the space for a period of time, that's important to us. So that's where it stems from.
Okay. How do you stay true to yourself when you are creating experiences, coming up with the creative direction to appeal to a crowd or to the community, but then also how you are cooking and creating this love within food? How do you just stay true to like, okay, this is who I am through it all, and I'm going to keep that, even though I'm inviting new people in the process?
Um, I stay authentic 100%. I'm going to unmask in my space. Like this is the space which we cultivated. So we're the shifters of that energy. So anybody who we invite into the space, we want them to feel the same thing. I don't want to perform. We perform out there while we're outside, but while we're in here, be safe and unload. Like this is a creative space where color thrives, conversation thrives. The new philosophers of their time, as I like to think about it, because they did these exact same things. So why not amplify that?
One thing we were talking about earlier is getting back into that childlike mindset or doing things that make you remember like, oh, I love this, and try to take the seriousness out of it. So, are we ready for 4?
Mm-hmm.
I think we're ready for a dessert. If there's room.
Is there room?
Always.
What you see in front of you is a lemon, but not just any lemon. It is a creme brulee lemon. And I use a lot of lemon extracts from the lemon. I don't waste anything when it comes to cooking. Even when I cut an onion, I take open the layers. You can air fry them and actually make a seasoning out of them. That's for a different time. So I did the same thing with our lemon extract here. And I'm going to melt down some of the sugar here and explain its purpose. There we go. So Ruby had mentioned something earlier about us cultivating our inner child.
Hold up.
Yes, bring us.
So through cultivating our inner child, there's always a series of play. So this activity specifically, you're going to take a picture of. So I want you to be very mindful when you're creating this experience for yourself, that all the tools that you see in front of you on the table, I want you to utilize and create your own visual expertise of what it would look like for you to serve yourself to the highest regard. You're royalty right now. So treat yourself as that, dive into it. We have a gold dust, we have some berries, we have some herbs, and chocolate. Create to your heart's desire, take a picture, and admonishing your creativity. The gold dust, where's it at here? So the gold dust is basically made out of like chipped onion pieces, but you don't actually taste it. And so you're gonna place just a little bit on it, blow on wherever you place it, and then the gold will appear, wiping the dust away.
I love it.
Just like magic. And then we also have a little powdered sugar as well. And then afterwards, enjoy it.
I'm so excited.
Monty, I have a question for you. Well, for you both. And it's something that I hope you all think about as you're creating your dessert for the highest, best version of yourselves. What is one takeaway or one thing that you want everybody to leave here today when it comes to taking the leap, starting something new, building a community, finding a great partnership and leaning into that to build a beautiful business? What would you tell them to do right now? Raw, brutal, honesty, don't think about it. If not now, when energy? Talk to me nice.
I'm gonna go first because I'm gonna sound a little crazy because this is the dynamic of our relationship, but be delusional as possible. Envision yourself where you can't even exemplify yourself in and start maintaining those positions even when you feel like you can't attain them now. Present yourself to the highest tier, and that will gradually be a self-reflection for it to come back into your life in full, and it will be real someday.
I love that.
Okay.
Yeah, delusion. For me, I think that it's important to just say yes to as many opportunities as you can that align with what you feel like you can do. And if you feel like you can't do it, still say yes and grow into it. So I feel like, people always discount the power of just like not only saying yes to an opportunity, but saying yes to yourself. Like, I feel like so many times we deny our dreams and we'll dim our light and say what's realistic. And sometimes you have to say, you know what? I'm trying not to cuss. Bump that.
Okay.
I can do whatever I put my mind to. I don't have to be realistic. I can be delusional. So compliment my husband right there.
Be delusional.
Be delusional. You can do it. If we can do it, I know everybody always say that, but if we can do it, trust me. Every single one in this building can do it.
And that is very sanguine.
Yeah.
How
Very sanguine.
Okay, make your desserts, and then again, this is the ending to hopefully the beginning of something beautiful after you've heard this conversation, after you've tasted this food. I just hope that it gives you inspiration to win the day, be your best selves, and just remind yourself all the time, if not you, then who? I'm so good. Okay, make your dessert, mingle with everybody. Huh? What?
Okay.
It's your time. Get on your grind. Make it happen. With all your passion, go hit the street.
Hey.
Okay.
Slow beat, don't need. Okay. Yes, Charnel.
I know that's right.
All right. Y'all, I hope y'all have a good night and eat that dessert. You deserve
Okay.
it. Thank you, Monny and Chann.
Thank you, Ruby.
Thank you so much. Oh my god. Oh my god. I can't
If not you,